Yes. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all, and welcome back to Shotgun. And that is it. Day 3 of what is now turning into the no sleep challenge. Cause yeah, being a dad who works almost full time and then has to come home and be a dad and family crap and what have yous doesn't leave a whole lot of time for editing, especially when you edit almost a whole vlog on your phone and then can't do something because you're limited by the limits of a phone app, a phone editing app, and get super frustrated and scrap the whole thing and then start all over in Premiere Pro when you're supposed to be going to bed and get a good night's sleep for work. Oh, FPV. I miss being able to afford you. And I broke a battery strap, and I'm not kidding when I tell you how desperate things are getting, y'all. I'm literally down to like one extra battery strap, I think. So if I can't fly because I don't have a freaking battery strap, I quite possibly could lose my mind. But yeah, speaking of the no sleep challenge, or yeah, this 10-day video challenge that is also a no sleep challenge. Quick Trip, how dare you stop selling NOS? I thought it was a super popular energy drink, but apparently it's not selling at that Quick Trip good enough for them to stock anymore. And I'm writing a letter to your corporate office saying how disappointed I am with that decision. Yeah, so my plan was to... Well, I'm not even sure what my plan was anymore, but I was gonna race home and try to get a quad working. I don't have a lot of time. Today's one of those days where I get off of work and I get basically an hour to kill, and then I gotta go pick up my kid and then be full-time dad until basically he goes to bed. And if I'm doing a video a day for the next 8 days, it's gonna be a little rough on today, like today and tomorrow for that matter, because tomorrow's the same situation. But anywho, my plan is for right now is to just scrap that hour-and-a-half long video that's sitting on my computer right now waiting to be edited on Premiere Pro, because I've looked at it a couple of times and gone over, and it's just I could definitely turn it into something usable, but I just don't want to. I just don't have the motivation to turn that crap into something usable. So buckle up, because I'm gonna try to recap it all right now. And if you're not interested in hearing it, then by all means click away. But I gotta do 8 more videos in 8 days, so this is what you're getting right now. Alright, so I started with a quad that I bought from a guy named Chris. He built it. It was beta flight. And all I did was buy some goggles and a transmitter, and then that quad. And as far as I knew then, it flew great. And it flew great for a while. Until I would crash and break something, and then I would know how to fix it. And that happened so frequently that he got sick of fixing my quad for me, and then, yeah, everybody got sick of me in the first 6 months of me flying FPV. Because it was always like, wah, shit's broke, I hate this crap, I'm done, I quit FPV, blah, 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 I'm selling everything. And I don't blame them a single solitary bit for them getting sick of me. I'm a fucking drama queen. There's just no getting around it. I can't help it. My only excuse is that I loved it so much. I still do love it. But everything in the last few months is really draining on my passion for it. I kind of got left to my own. I mean, I got sucked way deep into it, and then everybody got sick of me, and I was kind of left on my own to figure shit out. And I did. Also, at that point, Steve stepped in and helped out a lot, because he was super into it too. And shout out to all y'all, Chris, Steve, Noah, everybody else that helped. Thanks for putting up with me for the first 6 months. Hell, thanks for putting up with me for all of the last 2.5 years. And yeah, anywho, so Steve really helped out a lot too when all that crap happened. And then I was buying frames off this guy named Chuck Jones in Atlanta, who was a small-time guy, but then started blowing up to the point where he couldn't keep up with it anymore, and he bailed. But the point is, I was bitching to him about Beta Flight and how it's just a constant struggle, and I hate setting up quads in it, and blah blah blah. And he was like, "Well, try Race Flight," because back then it was Race Flight. And at first I was like, "Hell no, I'm not going near that shit," because I had been filled full of all the stuff about him, like stealing code or doing bad things with code, and I don't know, I just heard a lot of shit about him and Race Flight, and not knowing any better, I bought into it all. Shit, it all could be true. I don't know. I don't care. I tried it, and it's absolutely everything I want in a configurator and a firmware, and at that point, hardware. I mean, the first Flight 1 quad I built, it was just so goddamn easy. You just solder the wires on, the motor's on, connect the connector to the. Actually, no, the first one I built was the pin one before the connector. So yeah, that was my first Flight 1 build. And then right after that, they came out with the V2 and V3, which made things exponentially easier. And I never use anything ever again. I use the exact same setup in all of my quads for a good year, a good year plus, probably. Where I'm getting at with this is that I never changed anything. I loved it. Everything was fucking terrific. And then they came out with the Bolt 32 and the Revolt OSD, which I've just never had any sort of good luck with. Never once. Constant video issues. Bolt 32s, in my opinion, are super fragile. I broke them all. I've broken every single one I've ever had. And I never broke a Bolt V2 before the 32. Except for extreme circumstances, like the one that got ran over by a minivan at Quad Camp, and the one that shit, what else was there? Well, one's in the bottom of a river. One fried because I smashed so hard into a gate that it just smashed my camera and everything into my stack and shorted it. But other than that, I mean, they were just freaking bulletproof. So, bottom line is, my favorite setup and everything just wasn't working anymore. So, the only thing that I love more than Flight 1 and or BQE, because God, I love the Bot 5. It, as far as I'm concerned, it'll be the last freestyle frame I'll ever buy. The only thing I love more than Flight 1 and BQE is heli-nation, and even considering everything, I knew the second that the stack was announced that I was going to try it, even though I despise Beta Flight. If it came out, I had enough money plus the last of my credit to get that stack. I got it. I built it. It was easy as shit uh, to build until it came time to do anything in beta flight. And I guess what the point is I'm trying to make right now at this particular junction is that I think that we all need to remember where we all started and how noobish noobs can be, because this is the first beta flight quad I'd touched in over a year. So essentially, and beta flight's so different since the last time I touched it. It might as well have been my first build, is my point. Yeah, it might as well have been my first build. And I asked a couple of noobish type questions, I guess, apparently. And I'm more asking, I asked a couple of noobish questions mainly just for confirmation, because I'm terrified of blowing anything, and I don't want to screw nothing up because I did something wrong. So I'm 90% sure that's how it's supposed to be, but I ask just in case. And apparently I asked so many questions, and they seemed so noobish that like people thought I was trolling, which is it's hilarious. That's the only it's just fucking hilarious to me. The only thing I've ever trolled in my life is flat earthers. So but yeah, so and then it came time to set it up in beta flight, and thank you Josh Box, because he basically held my hand through the whole setup of beta flight, refreshed my memory, ran over some of all the new crap with me. The point is that yes, as a community, we should all remember where we came from, because I mean, over the last couple of years, I've helped several people get into FPV and troubleshoot and give advice and whatnot. And just recently, this guy hit me up on Instagram, and it was so random that I thought for sure it was like a scam or just somebody trying to sell me tools again or something like that. And he turned out legitimately needed help. And and hats off to him big time, because I don't know how, but he like got quad parts and put this quad together all by himself, just by via YouTube and stuff like that, but of like shit that's been out of date for 2 years. Some of the stuff I didn't even recognize. Like, he had this big voltage regulator on the back of it, and he had like a fly sky plane receiver in it, a camera that was like it was like a camera VTX combo. I mean, just crazy shit I've never seen before. And that was the first thing I told him. I was like, man, bro, hats off for getting this thing to even hover, because I don't recognize half the shit on the thing. And his issue was it was bound and hovering and stuff like that, but he couldn't figure out why he didn't have video. And so basically I just went down the line of troubleshooting it with him, and he gave me the specs of, he sent me the links, and he got it all off of Amazon, and the links he sent me, none of the products were available, so I don't even know how he got them in the first place, but they thankfully at least had the specs on it. And long story short, his camera operated at 3 volts, which I've never even heard of. But yeah, it was like a 3.3 volt camera, and I told him to get a multimeter and check the voltage of the pads that he had the camera powered on. And of course, those pads weren't regulated. It was straight 11 volts because it was all 3S shit. 11 volts straight to those pads. He fried his camera. And I was like, okay, pretty easy solution. You just buy yourself a modern camera that can handle full 6S voltage. And wire it, and then you know, just replace that camera. I suggested the split, or the Runcam Swift 2 Rotoride edition, because it's still a good camera right now, and it takes full voltage. So he gets that, and then he sends me a picture. He's like, I don't know, I got it all wired up and I still don't have video. And he sends me a picture, and he cut the video wire. All the only wires he had hooked up was a positive and negative, and he just snipped the audio wire and the video wire off the camera connector and off the VTX. And I couldn't help but fuck with him a little bit. I was like, dude, you cut the video wire. How do you expect it to send a video signal? What do you think, these things work on Wi-Fi or something? Or Bluetooth? And I hope he was, I mean, he replied in a funny manner, like, oh man, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, blah, blah, blah. And then I, you know, and thankfully, you know, the stuff always comes with extra shit. So I was just like, all you got to do is just, you know, depin that and stick another wire in there and then hook it up and then blah, blah, blah. But he's in the air, flying FPV with a Martian 2 with 3-year-old hardware in it and a modern camera. So my point to the story is that I've said 10 times now, we all just need to remember where we started and cut noobs some slack sometime. Jesus, man. I try to avoid Facebook groups in general these days because of shit like that. And I feel horrible for noobs that, you know, have to ask help because of shit like that. And I mean, a perfect example is a while back, I was setting up a Crossfire. I don't know, it might have been like the first Nano I set up. It was the first time I was trying to wire up smart audio via just the Nano and TBS VTX, the Unify. Jesus, why couldn't I spit that out? So I was trying to wire up Crossfire or the smart audio through the Nano and the freaking, oh my god, my brain's going bye-bye on me. You know what I'm trying to say. Smart audio, Nano, Unify. God. And all I did was go on the TBS lounge, and all I did was ask, okay, so I want this here and on that there, just for confirmation, so I didn't screw anything up. And I just got lit up. Like, don't you know how to search Facebook, blah, 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 where people are sick of answering this question 1,000 times. And I couldn't believe it, man. It enraged me, and B, it broke my heart. You know, I mean, it breaks my heart that we live in a world now where somebody would rather take the time to be like, blah, 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 learn how to search Facebook, blah, 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 you know, this and that, than to simply just type YES. That's all it would have taken. But it just kills me that it even has to happen, that it even happens. And it's all over the place, everywhere. I mean, whatever you do, don't go on a 3D printing page and ask a stupid question that's been asked 1,000 times, because you'll get lit up like a Christmas tree. I mean, I won't even go back to one of those groups. Thankfully, I don't have to. Shout out to Noah for helping me get my printing game in line. You know, if you see a stupid question, or if you know, just scroll by, or just answer the question. You know, if anybody ever sees this and is afraid to ask a question because of something like this that has happened to them, ask me anything you want. I love helping people get into this because I do. I love FPV, and I gotta wrap back around to another point. So, yeah, ask me anything you want. Doesn't matter how stupid it is. Like, not too long ago, some guy hit me up and couldn't figure out why he couldn't bind his Spectrum to his FR Sky receiver. You know, I bet that's pretty common for people that are getting into this that don't know so much that they don't even know that there's protocols that you need to stay in line with. You know, you obviously can't bind Spectrum to FR Sky. Anywho, and another point that I would like to make is that a friend of mine recently said that that Flight 1 is making people stupid, and that, like, conveniences in the world in general are making people stupid. Now, I do agree to some of that to some certain extent. As a species in general, humans are getting lazy as fuck because we expect everything to be done for us and handed to us and everything to be easy and push button and blah, blah, blah. I am certainly guilty myself. That's why I love Flight 1, or loved Flight 1, because it was so easy and it just worked all the time. And I personally don't think that there is anything wrong with that, because, like, Chad Capper and a lot of people who subscribe to the thought process of the more people that it is and the easier it is for more people to get into this hobby, the better it is for all of us. And I full-heartedly believe that, because more people in it means manufacturers making more money, have more money to put into R&D and make better shit, which helps us, and so on and so on and so on. I subscribe to that thought process fully, 100%. So I don't necessarily think that things being easier in this hobby particularly, I don't see that as a bad thing at all. All the firmwares are good these days. It just depends on whether or not you are a nerd and want to control every single aspect of how your quad flies, or if you just want to flash it and fly, which is my forte. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. That's what I prefer. I just want to build my quad, flash it, and fly, and have it fly 90% perfect. I'll take 90%. The 10% that's not perfect, Hypersmooth takes care of. I'm gonna go inside, get out of my shit work clothes, put this right into Premiere Pro, start rendering it, so when the kid goes to bed tonight, I can hopefully turn this into something usable. And even if it's horrible, it don't matter, because I gotta put it out, because I'm not gonna be beat by this challenge. I'm gonna put a video out every day for 10 days. Watch it, don't watch it, I don't care. But that's it. I'm done. I'm out. Have a good day. See you all later.